Good evening, everybody. System Shock here with the 21st episode of the Exile Legacy for Cultist Simulator. Now, I've got to admit, the last week or two have been very busy in terms of getting recording. That's actually going to be the same situation here, but the biggest drawback is because I recorded the last episode essentially the day before it was due. I'm actually having a lot of trouble remembering where I was in the overall playthrough. So it's going to be like that for a couple more episodes this week, I think, and then we will finally be back to equilibrium. But if I recall correctly, we were arriving in, Little Paris. And then I also recall I had the medical license, and this tranquility was supposed to give me the heart that I needed. So, and then of course we'll get rid of the Reckoner's Corpse to upgrade my edge. I have arrived. Alright, Dominicus the Baker. Dominicus has a ready smile and an unfortunate habit of picking his teeth. So, let's find a new place to go first. If I run, I should run somewhere I have an old friend, or at least an old acquaintance. And then I think I will reconnoiter. So there's always the worry that I'm going to generate a trace through doing that, but I don't think I'm in a position to really be selective at this point. I think I do need to run quickly through a few different environments, and then maybe when I feel a little more secure. So for instance, the fact that I didn't reconnoiter probably means I'm going to lose this tranquility just because of the time that it took. But yeah, I think I'll try to run through the mission as quickly as I can, but yeah, at this point, I'm probably going to wind up taking a few wounds and otherwise getting into trouble, but we'll do our best. Ijak Ashlag in Krakow has relied on me for years for the rarer occult texts. He's a hospitable man. So we're not going to send any money off to Krakow just because we're going to need the cash to travel. But let's talk with Dominicus for the quest that he wants. I'm meeting with Dominicus the Baker. And we'll reconnoiter Kaunas. Walk the city seeking opportunities. The wheel turns, the sun crosses the sky, night pursues it. At the end of each cycle, reckoners may also enter the city. This is more likely if you've created a trace, and much more likely if you've created more than one. Dominicus serves me a spiced honey cakes with kvass and chats amiably about a rival who's gotten hold of a seasoning Dominicus needs. He hopes it won't be too much trouble for me to help him acquire it, and then of course he'll be free to help me in turn. So, I don't know if it's Skirius or Skirius T. The authorities maintain a clandestine department dedicated to tetragenic phenomena. Once we've found its location, we will have to breach its walls and weather the ghastly influences radiating from its heart. So that definitely sounds like winter. In fact, I think this may not be a bad use for... I'm a little worried that we're not going to be able to pull this off, but this does seem to be like something I can throw the tranquility in while I sort out the rest of the steps. Of course, it does mean that I'm not going to be able to use the medical credentials, but at this point we're going to be trying to get an office for it anyway. This wasn't a tidy or a pleasant process, but I've developed my understanding of the many kinds of mortal action. An operation of the Strix. Where warriors fall, the many-winged Strigas gather together to honor their flesh. Where heroes fall, the many-winged ones gather to convey their souls before the hours. I don't intend to fall, so I've learned how the Strigas protect themselves. We'll do the exact same thing with the Reckoner Corpse here. Certain techniques can only be articulated in an enemy's blood. In a pinch, of course, I can always sell something like the Profane Weapon, but I'd prefer not to. Alright, there's the trace. It's hard to pass through the world and leave no footprints. Reckoners use traces to find you. goods, get out. I don't think it's ever been that simple. Ready, 3 momentum means success. There will be complications before that. So where I can, I'll put this tranquility into the vault and hope for the best. Right, an unknown location. I'll need to start by finding exactly where this place is. So this actually only requires knock. So all wounds are door. I've opened what was sealed. Now, we'll only have 46 seconds left on the tranquility afterwards, but I'm happy enough that we were able to make some progress. Okay, the discreet office is something that I'll be able to generate some money off of. Now, I think I'm going to avoid buying it until the last minute. I don't know what I'm going to be up against when it comes to the reckoners. So let's fast forward. All right, here we go. Just one slip. I've been careful, but not careful enough. A trace on the board will sometimes draw reckoners. So the plan here is going to be to try to take them out as early as I can. The names of the wolf. 3 natures hath the wolf divided. He unmaketh, and the last he unmaketh. You don't have to like an hour to learn from it. Okay, more traces. We won't worry about the warehouse. At this point, it would be nice to have maybe an underworld contact in case we have somebody who's going to be going after my possessions. Another complication. What now? A guarded compound. Walls, towers, and watchers. Alright, so I need to find 6 forge, 6 moth, or 4 more knock. Aha! My wound actually helps out here. All wounds are doors. I've opened what was sealed. The search. There's that tingling sensation on the back of my neck. Someone is looking for me. Alright, so unfortunately, I'm going to lose the tranquility. Actually, there's a little bit of fancy footwork I can do here. I really want to make sure I don't lose this. Okay, this is good. Walk the streets at night. Is there something on my mind? I'm gonna hang on to this for a little bit. No, we definitely don't want to depart. Walk the city seeking opportunities. Sometimes this will create a trace. Okay, so I gotta be careful on my timings here. Reinforcements. Reckoners have evidence that I'm here. They're summoning help to smoke me out. So if we don't use Dominicus, then I'm going to be able to... Alright, I don't know why I thought I'd be able to do anything else with this. If we don't use Dominicus, then we'll be able to gain our ally and leave town quickly. I really don't want to... I really don't want to make it that... how do I put it? Like, I have a few other things that I'd like to try and get done before leaving the city. Like, usually there's like a special item that you can pick up, and of course that's going to require me to earn some money and such. So it really depends, you know, what's going on with the Reckoners. Because of course, if they start going after my possessions and I can't defend against that, there's no point in holding on. Of course, the drawback here is if I want to be able to use the wound, I am not leaving myself a lot of opportunities here. But I do want to hang on to the tranquility, so I've opened what was sealed. Alright, that's a problem. So we're going to start by firing the profane weapon. Winter. So fortunately we can use the tranquility here. I've used patience. Night deepens. I now face an ordeal of desolation, a sunset in the soul. And an official connection, so we should be able to secure my possessions against the Reckoner. Widening the search. A Reckoner operative is uncovering more clues. They may summon reinforcements soon. A palpable hit. I've struck and faded back into the city. 2 wounds will kill most reckoners, 4 wounds will kill an underboss. So I don't want to do a second attack with the names of the wolf yet. It's better to just keep this an open possibility. Another trace. Waiting to see what they do before I try anything. I've learned to listen to my instincts. My instincts are telling me that someone's working against me. But again, I'm holding off. It's just because I want to be careful in terms of how I'm using my resources. If I buy the discreet office, that means I'm committed to staying here for a while. And I think I probably will be, but... Alright, theft or sabotage. So, I don't necessarily like the idea of burning a stolen year, but we now have a chance to put another wound on the Reckoner, and that's good. This will also mean that I can upgrade my edge, which is the reason why I didn't use that for the attack. The prize. This is what I came for. Safely away with my haul. Okay, so I also have some opportunities here with the Tranquility. Assuming I can get the timings right, I think I'm actually going to wind up losing one of those. Maggot Spice. The seasoning Dominicus wanted. A pot of nasty-looking larval remnants. The pot is icy cold to the touch. Dominicus deploys a smile of amiable patience. My honey cake is still far short of its full potential. We clasp hands. Your associate is now an ally. They'll follow you when you leave the city, unless you're headed for a final confrontation at the map's edge. So, we will buy the discreet office now, so I'm more or less committing myself to Little Paris for a bit longer. I think we're down at least 1 tranquility, probably more than 1. But as always, we'll do our best. On a doctor's practice, my treatments are not quite what they seem, but my results are always excellent. A reasonably safe way to convert stolen lifespan into cash. Heart aspect cards are often useful when running a practice. 4 stolen seasonings, and I'll have a stolen year, I suppose, Dominicus asks genially. He pokes you with an elbow. Alright, so I'm going to try and put the freshly expiring Tranquility in first. So, business hours. And what else do we want to do? I'll want to upgrade my edge before too long. Finished off my pursuer. Reckoners aren't immortal. We only buy years and sell them. If that ever needed proving, I've proved it tonight. Alright, another trace for my efforts, but I think that was worth it. I don't think it hurts to improve my abilities, and then it's bought me more time to investigate the city. So, more heart. I think we should actually be able to take this all the way to the top, which is good. I do like the idea of having some extra cash to be able to take me through to the next area. So we've got purchase a dangerous substance. This would be illegal if enough people knew it existed. So we'll see. I think this may wind up being an ingredient which isn't as pressing. Oop, I don't know why I'm not searching the city. If you could just give me a quick second here. I did tell someone I was going to meet them later today, and I just need to make sure that we're still on for a certain time. I'm sorry to do this while recording a video, but I don't want there to be a message to pop up in the middle. Okay. Sorry about that. So we'll buy these. I suppose at this point we're just going to see what else we can pick up, you know, before having to commit too heavily to a fight. So even the idea of using something like an official connection to take out another, you know, to take out another Reckoner, it's not the worst outcome, but it does mean that I have to give up another year, and that's a year that isn't generating money and sort of being able to be turned into something like a secluded villa. Okay, freezing winds. We don't necessarily know that that's going to be something the foe is vulnerable to this time around. It does change, but at least previously this is the sort of thing we could have used to save our skin. This wasn't a tidy or a pleasant process, but I have developed my understanding of the many kinds of mortal action. The Cinnabar forms 7x7 techniques of unmaking. Patients come and go at my doctor's practice. Next. So we didn't actually need the extra tranquility here, it looks like, but I am going to add. I'm going to add it nonetheless. And as soon as we have some money, we will buy the dangerous substance. Okay, now I haven't had much use for I mean, this would have been useful in the expedition because of both the knock and the lantern. That would have solved the find the opening phase anyway. But in this case, I'm happy, you know. Is there something on my mind? I am happy to turn this into more tranquility because right now we don't have a reliable way of generating heart. So the more tranquility I can generate, the better off I am. Obviously, it's going to be counting down, but I'll settle. Okay. So I think it's fair to say I'm going to liquidate the office and run. We can't go until the work here is done, and again, I may take a shot at the Reckoner just so that I can keep them at bay. If it's an assassin, it's actually even better because I now have a few interruptions. The city seeking opportunities. I do need to worry about the possibility of the underboss showing up as well. Oh, I thought we were done. So I am going to have to stand and fight for longer. There's that tingling sensation on the back of my neck. Someone's looking for me. So I'm going to have to make a hard decision about the official connection, I think. Uh-oh. Reinforcements reckoners have evidence that I'm here. They're summoning help to smoke me out. So the question is, do I want the security of the official connection, or am I willing to sort of run on short notice? I'm going to extend the life of my defenses here. I guess we'll know what type of reckoner we're dealing with before the official connection expires, but... Ooh, the Wolf Divided's shadow. The scent which is neither tar nor blood nor ozone. The Wolf Divided's rage boils beneath the air. I suppose one of the things I could have done was sold the gun. I'm delighted to see you looking so much better. Works are written in water. You've achieved 3 subtlety? Alright, so we are going to want the official connection. In all likelihood, we will be protected by the obscurity that I've generated, but I prefer the idea of... Actually, there's one last thing I can do. We can see what happens when we recognize Arcanus. Okay, so we will... Now, if I buy this up, it's going to take me... Okay, I gotta think this through. Why am I... Okay, so the one thing I'm doing for sure, I'm selling the discreet office. So why am I holding off on getting the official connection? It's because I think for one reason or another, I'm going to be leaving before this reckoner can cause a problem. They're going to take the obscurity first. I may get another connection. Okay. I could be getting greedy here. buy the item first, which means I'm losing the official connection. And then I'm going to fire the gun. Alright, a Reckoner operative has evidence that I'm here, but they haven't moved against me. This can only mean that they've sent for their superior. When there are 3 traces on the board, the underboss can appear. So just as well that I didn't use the gun, but I gotta get out of here. So we've got 4 items. We should be able to finish selling the house. But that's still only going to leave me with 1 cash by the end of all of this. Okay, well, that's life. So let's just go. If I'm lucky, I'll leave with my obscurity intact, but I don't want to... I'm not banking on it, let's say. On to Krakow. Prepare to depart. Time to go. Have I forgotten anything? Don't have much in the way of tranquility left over, but we'll worry about that later. If I'm honest, I would have preferred having enough money to be able to build the grand townhouse, but I'm not going to complain about this outcome. In fact, if we can walk away with an obscurity, that's even better. I know the signs a minor Reckoner Lord has entered the city. My foe can't be too far behind. But I think we've just finished packing. Yeah, nuts. Oh, hang on, we may get that obscurity back. The Reckoner underboss is searching for me. They won't find me yet, but my veil of secrecy is wearing thinner. Farewell. Alright. That went surprisingly well. Arrival. Ijak has prepared a room for me in the attic. I'm too old to be murdered, he assures me. If they come for you, I'll hide under the table and cry. I am going to end a little bit earlier here, but what I want to do, just because I am aware that the videos usually wind up being a half hour, I did want to do a quick recap just in terms of where we are in the playthrough and where, sort of where how I feel that went. We are still in the early stages, so we did take 77 years, and we're now down to 69. So, I mean, we have used 8 years at this point. And the question is, what do we have to show for it? So we have a pistol, we have the Knock Curio, we've got the Forge ingredient. Now, there are some questions as to whether or not this is very useful for me. It gives me 4 Forge and 2 Grail, but I believe as an ingredient it is used up. So this may actually just be desirable because I can sell it. But anyways, so in terms of possessions, we've got the 3 items. We also have the medical license, so we can count that as an item. We'll say that's the 4th one, and then we have funds. So out of the 8 years that we've spent, we've been able to sort of translate that into 5 possessions. But of course, the other important detail is we've managed to upgrade our edge by quite a bit. I think this is just the 3rd city that we're in, maybe even the 2nd now that I think of it. I guess we're moving on to the 3rd city. So I wish I was in a slightly better financial situation, and honestly I think that's because I was so used to going in and like getting a secluded villa and just, you know, making money hand over fist running the sanatorium. But given the fact that we're up in obscurity, we have a weapon, admittedly not something that can damage the foe, but given that I've been able to translate some of these early steps into the ability to make some money, that's worth marking. The big concern that I'm going to have now is that a lot of my ability to make money is kind of contingent on this tranquility here. And I mean, maybe I'll put some forge in to try and make things work out. There's a little bit of Grail in the Adept's powder as well. I'm going to need to figure out exactly how I'm going to properly make the medical practice work, so that I can make enough money to be able to get the better buildings that I can work with. That's going to be the main focus for the next couple environments. But so long as I'm able to get a reasonable run of tranquility going, I feel like this is a pretty strong start to the run. I think unless I'm really short on tranquility, I probably shouldn't be just burning years on their own. And yeah, I think at this point here, the real question is just going to be what is the best way for me to translate things like Dominicus and the Bohemian Saint. Is there a way that I can start translating a few of these things into cash, because of course that winds up being a virtuous cycle. But we are going to handle all of that in the we're going to handle all of that in the next episode. I do want to try and be a little timely in terms of recording these things, so sorry for a slightly shorter one. But I will see you all on Wednesday. Just a reminder, Tuesday is sort of an off day for me, although there will be some VOD material that comes up sooner rather than later. And following that, we will see how far we can get in Poland. Until then, take care.